Karen Pepper sprayed my daughter at a playground, not knowing I'm a federal agent. I didn't move to this neighborhood looking for a fight. Honestly, I thought we'd left that kind of conflict behind when we left Baltimore. We just wanted quiet, safety, a yard, good schools, a place where my daughter could play outside without sirens screaming past every hour. The suburb of Oak Ridge Grove checked every box, or so we thought. My name's Evan Miles. I'm a father, a husband, and for the past 16 years, a federal officer with Homeland Security. But out here, I was just the guy in Lot 39 with the loud kid. My daughter, Layla, is 7, a bright, brave little soul who has survived more in her short life than most adults. She had asthma as a toddler and spent more nights in ICU than I care to count. But she pulled through, always smiling, always running toward the light. That's what she was doing on a Thursday afternoon at Oak Ridge Grove Community Park. Just running, laughing, being 7, until Karen. I was on the bench, phone in hand, watching Layla take another go on the monkey bars. The sun was warm, the day peaceful. I even remember thinking, this is what I fought for. Then I heard her scream. At first I thought she'd fallen. I sprinted toward her only to see her on the ground, clawing at her eyes, sobbing, while a woman stood over her holding a can of pepper spray. She was yelling and screeching. The woman barked, not an ounce of guilt in her voice. I warned her. That noise was disturbing the peace. I have a right to. I didn't let her finish. I dropped to my knees, cradled Layla, and pulled the emergency rinse kit from my bag. I always carry it. Her lungs, her eyes. One mistake, one dose too much, and it could be over. You sprayed my daughter. My voice cracked. Not from anger, from panic. She needed to be quieted down, the woman snapped. And frankly, if you were a better father, you'd teach her some manners. The air around us froze. That's when I stood up slowly and unclipped the chain from around my neck. The Homeland Security badge caught the sunlight. Karen backed away. Some other parents had gathered by now. A few gasped. One mom whispered, "Oh my God, is she serious?" while recording everything. Another dad was already on the phone with 911. "Ma'am," I said, my voice shaking with barely held rage. "You just assaulted a minor, a disabled minor. You are not in a position to lecture anyone. You can't arrest me. This is private property," she shrieked. But it wasn't. The park was maintained by the township, and I knew for a fact that the HOA, or this little suburban tyrant who claimed to represent it, had no authority here. I crouched beside Layla as the ambulance pulled up. EMTs moved fast, neutralizing the chemical and stabilizing her breathing. One of them looked me in the eyes and said quietly, "She's lucky. Any longer and it could have collapsed her airway." That was when my hands started to shake, but not from fear, from the storm building inside me. The next morning, I filed an official report. Karen's name was Marla Spencer. She wasn't even on the HOA board, but she'd printed her own badge, carried around fake community enforcement citations, and had been running around issuing threats to parents, landscapers, and kids for months. No one had challenged her until now. Through some calls, I got access to old security camera footage from a nearby coffee shop with a view of the playground. It had captured everything, from Layla playing, to Marla shouting at her, to the moment she raised the canister and fired point blank. I sent that footage to local authorities, then to the district attorney, then, with help from a friend in media enforcement, to a few parenting forums online. What happened next was no longer in my hands. Within 48 hours, the footage had gone viral. Suburban enforcer sprays child in park white woman maces. 7-year-old for being too loud. Father reveals he's federal agent after daughter attacked. It spread like wildfire. Marla's social media was unearthed, and it was worse than anyone thought. Posts mocking kids with disabilities, proud comments about keeping the neighborhood clean from noise and chaos. She'd even uploaded selfies next to warning signs she personally duct taped to neighbors' doors. By day 3, the HOA issued a public statement distancing itself, claiming she had no affiliation. No authorization, but screenshots emerged of board members thanking her for enforcement. Then came the lawsuits. Two other families stepped forward, one whose autistic son had been harassed, and another whose Latina nanny was recorded and followed by Marla under the claim of suspicious presence. The story exploded into national conversation about suburban power abuse, weaponized whiteness, and fake authority. But what shook me most was the rally. One Saturday morning, I brought Layla, still recovering, to the park. I just wanted her to feel safe again. But we weren't alone. Over 300 people showed up. Parents, teachers, community members. Kids in Let Her Play shirts. A local choir sang. Layla even got to speak nervously, but proudly. "I just wanted to play," she said softly into the microphone. "And now I don't want anyone else to be scared." I couldn't speak. I just held her. That night, our mailbox overflowed with letters, not hate, but thanks. From families who said they'd been scared too, who'd stayed silent, who were now inspired to speak. As for Marla, she was arrested 2 weeks later, charged with felony assault, child endangerment, and impersonating a public official. The trial is still pending, but the judge denied her bail after the footage showed she kept multiple cans of chemical spray in her car, labeled neighborhood control. Her house is now for sale. Nobody in the neighborhood speaks to her husband. Her HOA badge evidence. Her story, a cautionary tale. Layla's better now. She's back to running, to laughing. Her eyes healed, but there's a new fire in her voice when she tells other kids, "If someone scares you, tell an adult. Don't stay quiet." And me, I still patrol borders, still chase threats from outside. But now I know sometimes the danger is right here in our own backyard, wearing a cardigan and a smug smile. And sometimes justice doesn't wear a uniform. It shows up holding a child. The end.